The monitor flatlined. The sound pierced through Vincent Moretti like a bullet, sharp, final, unforgiving. He stood frozen in the hospital doorway, watching doctors swarm around her still body. Emma. The woman carrying his child. The woman he'd treated like a transaction. His fists clenched until his knuckles went white. This wasn't supposed to happen. She was 26, healthy, strong. But lying there, pale as death, she looked fragile. Breakable. Broken. "Mr. Moretti, we need you to step back," a nurse tried, but Vincent didn't move. Couldn't move. All he could hear were her last words before the seizure took her. "I hope you learn to love this baby more than you hate me." His throat closed. When had he made her think he hated her? The answer hit him like a slap, every single day since she'd signed that contract. This is Emma's story, a journey from desperation to something she never expected to find. If you want to know how a cold transaction became the fight of 2 lifetimes, subscribe to the channel and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Every view helps us bring you more stories like this one. 3 months earlier, Emma stood outside the Moretti estate, her worn sneakers looking pathetic against the marble steps. The gates alone probably cost more than she'd earn in 10 years of waitressing. Her phone buzzed. Another hospital bill. Another reminder that her mother was dying, and Emma was drowning. The door opened before she could knock. A man in a suit, not the expensive kind Vincent Moretti wore, but close, gestured her inside without a word. The silence felt like judgment. She'd seen Vincent Moretti once before, at the surrogacy clinic. He'd walked past her in the waiting room like she was furniture. 32 years old, devastatingly handsome in that dangerous way that made smart women stupid. Dark hair, darker eyes, and a jaw that looked carved from stone. Everything about him screamed power. And money. God, the money. "Miss Carter." His voice came from behind her, and she jumped. He'd entered the room without making a sound, a predator's skill. Emma turned. Up close, he was even more intimidating. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a black suit that probably cost more than her car. A tattoo peeked above his collar, some Italian script she couldn't read. As they passed Vincent, Emma made the mistake of glancing up. Their eyes met. She saw it then, a flash of something raw beneath the ice. Guilt, anger, fear. But it was gone in an instant, shuttered behind those black walls. Vincent turned and walked away, his footsteps echoing in the cavernous hall. But that night, a different doctor appeared at Emma's door. Not Dr. Russo. A woman. "Mr. Moretti hired me as your personal physician," she explained gently. "I'll be checking on you 3 times a day. And he's asked me to ensure you have everything you need. Food, water, company, anything." Emma stared. "Company," he said, and I quote, "She shouldn't be alone. So I'm also your friend now, if you'll have me." The doctor smiled. "I'm Maria." For the first time in weeks, Emma felt the tightness in her chest ease. Vincent Moretti was still ice. But somewhere beneath it, something had cracked. The changes came slowly, subtly. Fresh flowers appeared in Emma's room every morning. The kind of wildflowers she'd mentioned liking to Maria. How had Vincent known? The lock on her suite door disappeared. A note appeared in its place. "The West Wing and gardens are yours. V." Staff began smiling at her, asking how she felt, bringing her tea without being asked. Emma didn't see Vincent, but she felt his presence everywhere, like he was watching, adjusting, trying. She was 12 weeks pregnant when they finally spoke again. Emma had ventured into the gardens, a sprawling paradise of roses and stone paths. She'd found a bench beneath a willow tree and was reading, one hand resting on her barely visible bump. "You like it here." She jumped, the book tumbling from her hands. Vincent stood 10 feet away, hands in his pockets, looking almost uncertain. "I'm sorry," Emma stammered. "I didn't know you used this area. I'll go." "No." The word was sharp. Then softer. "Stay. Please. Please." Vincent Moretti had said please. He moved closer, but stopped at a careful distance. The afternoon sun caught the planes of his face, making him look younger, more human. "Dr. Russo said you're doing better," he said. "Yes. Maria's been wonderful." "Good." Silence stretched between them. Then, "I owe you an apology." Emma's breath caught. Vincent's hands clenched. Unclenched. "I treated you like you weren't human. Like this," he gestured vaguely toward her stomach, "was just a business deal. It is a business deal. But you're not." His hands were shaking, knuckles bloody, eyes wild with something feral. "He was going to kill you," Vincent said, his voice raw. "He was going to kill our baby." "Our baby." "Not the baby. Ours." Marco appeared with more men, hauling the unconscious attacker away. Maria was already checking Emma, hands gentle but efficient. "She's okay," Maria confirmed. "No injuries. But her blood pressure is spiking." Vincent crossed to Emma in 3 strides. His hands cupped her face, tilting it up to his. "Are you hurt? Did he touch you?" "I'm fine. I'm fine." But she was shaking. They both were. "I'm sorry," Vincent breathed. "God, Emma, I'm so sorry. This is my world. My enemies. You shouldn't be." "I'm here," she interrupted. "I chose to be here." "You didn't choose this." His thumbs stroked her cheeks, gentle despite the violence still clinging to him. "You didn't choose to be a target." "Then protect us." Emma's hands covered his. "Both of us. The way I know you can." Something in Vincent's eyes cracked wide open. "I can't lose you." The confession hung between them, raw, honest, terrifying. "Then don't," Emma whispered. Vincent's forehead dropped to hers. They stood there, breathing each other's air, while chaos raged around them. "I need to tell you something," Emma said suddenly. "Before this goes any further. Before I let myself feel what I'm feeling." Vincent pulled back just enough to meet her eyes. "Tell me." "My mother died 2 months ago. The cancer took her." Emma's voice broke. "I didn't tell you because I didn't think you'd care. Because we weren't supposed to be anything to each other." "Emma." "I used your money to make her comfortable in the end. To give her dignity. And I'm grateful. But I need you to know, I'm alone now. Completely alone. If this," she gestured between them, "is just grief making you feel something, if tomorrow you wake up and regret it, I don't have anywhere else to go. I don't have anyone else." The vulnerability in her admission made Vincent's chest ache. She was trusting him, didn't remember sitting beside her bed, taking her hand in both of his. She looked so small beneath the white sheets. Tubes and wires everywhere. But her chest rose and fell. Rose and fell. Alive. "I'm sorry," Vincent whispered, pressing his lips to her knuckles. "For everything. For treating you like a transaction. For bringing you into my world. For almost losing you because of my selfishness." Emma's fingers twitched in his grip. "Our daughter is perfect," he continued, his voice thick. "So small, but fighting. Like her mother. I haven't held her yet. I'm waiting for you. Because we're supposed to do this together, remember?" He stayed until the nurses made him leave, promising to return the moment Emma woke. In the NICU, Vincent stood outside the incubator, staring at the impossibly tiny human inside. His daughter. With Emma's nose and his dark hair. She was smaller than his hand. Fragile. Dependent on machines. Perfect. Your mama's going to be okay, Vincent told her, his voice breaking. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you both know you're loved. Truly loved. Not as a contract. Not as a transaction. But as my family. The baby's finger curled, just slightly. Like she'd heard him. Vincent pressed his hand to the glass, wishing he could touch her. Hold her. Fight, little one, he whispered. For me. For your mama. Fight. Behind him, Marco cleared his throat. Boss, Calabrese wants to negotiate. Vincent didn't turn. Tell him if he ever threatens my family again, I'll burn his entire empire to the ground. This war is over. He doesn't get to take anything else from me. He's not going to like. I don't care. Vincent's voice was steel. My family comes first. Everything else can burn. It was the truth. For the first time in 3 years, Vincent Moretti had priorities beyond revenge. He had a daughter who needed him. And Emma. God, Emma, who'd made him human again. 3 days later, Emma opened her eyes. The first thing she saw was Vincent, asleep in the chair beside her bed, his hand still holding hers. He looked exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, stubble on his jaw, shirt rumpled. Vincent. Her voice came out as a croak. He jerked awake instantly. It was just beginning. 5 years later, Emma stood on the balcony of their penthouse, not the cold estate where everything had begun, but a home they'd chosen together, filled with warmth and laughter. Grace ran through the garden below, her dark curls bouncing, chasing butterflies with the fearless joy of a child who'd never known anything but love. She'd beaten the odds. Born at 26 weeks, she'd spent 2 months in the NICU, fighting every day. Now she was strong, brilliant, and completely her father's daughter, stubborn, brave, and fiercely protective of the people she loved. Arms wrapped around Emma's waist from behind. Vincent's chin rested on her shoulder. "What are you thinking about?" he murmured. "The day we met. How you looked at me like I was nothing." Vincent's arms tightened. "I was an idiot. You were grieving." Emma turned in his embrace. "But you changed. You let yourself feel again. You gave me a reason to." Vincent kissed her, slow and deep. 5 years, and he still kissed her like she was oxygen. "I love you, Mrs. Moretti. I love you too." Below, Grace shrieked with laughter. Vincent's mother, who'd re-entered his life once she learned about Emma and Grace, desperate to heal old wounds, was teaching her Italian phrases. "Say il mio sole." Grace yelled up at them. "You are my sunshine." Vincent's laugh was rich and full. Emma felt it rumble through his chest. This was their life now. Not a transaction. Not a contract. But a family built on choice, on love that had grown from the most unlikely soil. Emma thought about the woman she'd been, desperate, alone, signing away 9 months of her life to save her mother. She'd lost her mother, but she'd gained everything else. "No regrets?" Vincent asked, reading her mind like he always could. Emma looked at him, this man who'd learned to love again, who'd chosen her over his empire, who'd held her hand through every hard moment since. Then she looked at Grace, living proof that miracles happen. "Not a single one," Emma said. And she meant it. And that's how Emma's story ends, not in tragedy, but in triumph. A woman hired to carry a child became the heart of a family that chose love over everything else. If this story moved you, hit that like button and share it with someone who loves a good romance. More stories are coming your way. See you in the next one.